Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. This is Ben Kinney. This is season 2. This is Chad Himes in the background and Bob Stewart in the background.
We're in the background.
For now. Can we come into the foreground at some point, or?
No, you guys just stay in the background where you look pretty. Ladies and gentlemen, season 2, it's all about winning, and we're going to start a brand new series.
Yay!
Chad loves a good series.
Love a series.
Chad, your voice is so deep and manly. That's what I really, really love about you. This is a new series. This would solve the problems that I have today in this room, because this series is entirely 100%, ladies and gentlemen, about talent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need some in your world.
I need to surround myself with some better talent, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the talent series. Let's walk through this and let you know what you have coming your direction during this series. We're going to talk today about why talent is important and how it can make an impact to your life or your business, your stress, your income, how to identify talent, and how to realize that you might be surrounded by a bunch of non-talent. And then we are going to jump in on one of our next episodes into how to find talent. Are they sitting at the bus stop? Are they on the interwebs? Are they behind a wall? Are they your neighbor? Are they one of your customers? We're going to figure out and help you come up with a plan to identify and find potential talent candidates. Step 3, Chad Himes, we're going to jump into the hiring process. And I've probably taught the hiring process as much as anybody in this world. Days and days and days of teaching 2- and 3-day classes for the last 10 years. So I'm very passionate about the hiring process. Next, launching talent. Once you get somebody hired, how do you get them from day 1 to day kicking butt? Once they're kicking butt, how do you coach them and motivate them and train them so that they become even better and then will become totally awesome and you have the best of the best? How do you retain them into your world? And then we'll probably wrap it all up with a beautiful little bow, some sparkles or some glitter. How does that sound to you guys?
Well, it sounds fantastic, but Ben, I want to pull the curtain back on all of this, right? And I want the audience to be a part of our world and understand why the talent series is happening. So, Bob, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Why are we doing the talent series, and what made you suggest to Ben this topic that got him all fired up?
So, a couple of weeks ago, we do a leadership meeting in our world every Monday afternoon. And so a couple of weeks ago, Ben let us all know that by the end of this year, we want to hire 100 talented individuals into our world. And so as an organization, we've started this process, right? We've started going out and looking for talent, and we're in the process right now of hiring talent. But Chad, you were here. I came in one day and we sat down and we kind of have these planning sessions. What are we going to, what are the upcoming episodes going to be about? And I said, Ben, we have an audience and we're on the hunt for talent. Why don't we just use a couple episodes of the podcast to let everybody know that you're hiring?
Well, wait a minute. It wasn't that Ben was hiring. It was that Ben challenged you to go hire, and you said, "Hey Ben, help me out here. Let's do a podcast."
Wow,
series.
we're really pulling the curtain back,
I'm
Chad.
throwing you under the bus,
Really
Bob, as to what's going on.
Well, one of the things we'll talk about in that Finding Talent series is, where are your audiences at? Like, who's willing to listen to your message, right? And our message, one of the messages we're going to be putting out there is we're looking for talented individuals to join our organization. So this is one of the avenues we have to talk to people, and so I thought that maybe this would be an avenue. Yes, Chad, to get me out of doing actual work. Thank you for bringing that up, but that's kind of the genesis of this.
Probably from a less selfish perspective, we understand that all of you, if you run a business or that you manage anything, that the one thing holding you back from getting to your potential is finding some more talent for your life.
And it's every area of your life. It's health, wealth, leadership, and legacy that we're leaving behind. So Ben, you're talking about finding talent. And of course, Bob, yes, I'm absolutely throwing you under the bus, but I'm making it clear to everybody. Yeah, you're looking for talent. So if somebody's out there interested, they need to reach out when they're listening to this. But this isn't just necessarily even at work. Now, you might not be hiring when it comes to a partner in life, but you're going to learn a lot of lessons that'll still help. Retaining them, you're going to learn a lot of lessons that are going to help. So yes, we're all in a situation all the time of looking for, and we should always be looking for talent. Why is
you
it?
two gentlemen are married, and you guys should probably not go home and say, I was just describing you as talent to the Win, Make, Give community because they are going to throat punch you.
That is highly possible.
So let me ask you guys a question. If we had let Bob pick a sport.
Basketball.
Well, you know he's going to basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
Okay, I was going to say pick a decent sport, but we'll take basketball.
Right.
So
Wrestling.
no, basketball.
All right.
Basketball's great. If we had a team of basketball players that were all mediocre to poor, would it be easy or hard to recruit a star player?
Hard.
You would either have to have a truckload of money,
Yeah.
or it's probably impossible.
Yeah. And the reality is, if you were trying to get somebody who was a winner already, even a truckload of money might not do it.
Yeah. So one of the phrases that I heard one day is that A players attract A players, but B players traditionally attract C players, and C players traditionally attract D players.
Interesting.
In fact, we have a phrase in our company right now, Bob Stewart, called no B players. Kind of like the good is the enemy of great, comment, is we understand that the number one thing holding our company back from being at the highest possible level is not bad people, because we get rid of them. Those are the obvious ones. It's the mediocre to average people, the poor communicators, the bare minimum, the 15 pieces of flair individuals, if you guys and gals know what I mean by that.
I work there. I do.
Yeah. B players. So I want you to look around today in your organization, or if you're super brave, I want you to write down all the names of anybody that reports to you or anybody that you consider your peers. And you can use Roman numerals or Pig Latin or some way to disguise it if you want to. And I want you to rank them. Are they an A player, a B player, a C player, a D player, or an F player? F player, F stands for flush. You're going to flush them down the toilet and get rid of them. D, you're going to flush them down the toilet and get rid of them. C's, you're also going to flush them down the toilet and get rid of them. Hopefully you don't have a whole lot of those, or you're going to clog your toilet. B's, you are going to find ways to coach, mentor, hold them accountable, and get them to being A- players, right? And A players, you're going to work your butt off to keep them in your world. So you aren't always like certain sports teams that we know, Bob, that groom and train amazing players, and then they always go somewhere else.
Sure. It's Clint talked about this. Clint Swindoll, our friend of the podcast, he talked about this, where he talks about you got your oh yeahs, which are those A players in your world. You got
He said it better though. He said, "Oh yeah."
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He's got the oh no's,
Oh no.
which are your F's in your case, and then he's got those OKs, which are the ones that are just your
All right.
B's, right? Just sitting there in the middle.
Yeah. How would you guys all like to be described as? Yeah.
We've
Right.
described people like that before.
I want to be a oh yeah.
There you go. Another thing, Ben, as you're scoring these people, one of the ways I had heard it a long time ago was if you scored them by numbers, if you gave them a score out of 10 in your situation with A's being 10, B's being 9s, or something along those lines, instead of adding them together, change the addition sign to a multiplication sign and watch what happens when you take a 7 and replace them with a 9 or a 10. Your score doesn't just go up by 2 or 3 points. It goes up exponentially because you're multiplying all that talent together.
One of the other things that for us, Ben, why this is so important right now to finding people, because we have, as we set out to hire 100 people, and all of us have been like, okay, who are we looking for? And you're like, I don't care, just talent. We'll find a place for them. And one of the reasons that we're able to find a place is because as we bring talent into our world grows. And so we need some of these talented individuals that do something really well today to be able to move up in the organization and do that thing. And we need another talented individual to step into their place. So this You might even have in your own world today your couple of key spots filled by A players. But if you can envision what your world's going to look like in, let's say, 3 years, and it's a bigger world, well, those A players are going to step up into bigger roles, and you're going to need other A players to fill into those roles for them. So this is just as much about building a deep bench as it is about getting A players in all of kind of your key positions.
All right. I like this direction. So under the kind of intro to talent bucket today, let's make a list, because we love lists, of why it is that you actually need talent. Okay, so talent. Why do we need talent? One, because the business is going to grow to the extent that you do, or to the extent of what your people do or grow. And if you are hiring non-talent, they don't grow. They don't invest in themselves. They aren't learning anything. They aren't pushing themselves. They aren't asking for more opportunities, right?
Yes.
So if you don't have talent in your organization, I bet you we could look around and say, well, you probably haven't grown a whole lot over the last couple of years.
Fair point.
Now, one of the other reasons why we need your business to grow is because in order to attract and retain talent, they have to be seeing your business as an opportunity for them.
Okay.
Now, I run into people all the time, Bob Stewart. They say, you know what? I don't want to have a really big business like you. And I said, that's awesome. Do you have any employees? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, great. What you just said to me then is extremely selfish. What you're saying is you're happy with how much money you're making. But by also saying that, you're saying I'm actually happy with how much my people are making too. I can have a nice house, a nice car, and take nice vacations, but nope, my people, they're screwed. They get to have, the mediocre life and the mediocre home and send their kids to a mediocre school and have mediocre vacations and mediocre memories and whatever that might be. And I'm not just tying this to money, experiences, right? You should want to have a business or a world that's big enough for your people to accomplish their goals, not just you.
And I mean, this is good. We'll obviously cover this in retaining talent, but that goes directly to can they see themselves growing in your world? And if they can't, they will be looking somewhere else.
In Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrants, he talks about the 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is I do it. I do it box basically just means that you're employed. You have a job. And a lot of people that own businesses actually just live in the I do it box. They never transition out of the I do it box. Some people are lucky enough to where they hire some people in their world and they share tasks, or this person does this and this person does that. That is in the we do it box.
Right.
The third quadrant is the they do it box. The they do it box is when you actually own a business. And when you actually own a business, hopefully that business makes a profit. And if it makes a profit, then you get to the fourth box, which is my money does it. Here's why I'm bringing this up. One of the reasons why businesses hit ceilings is because the leader never replaces parts of their job with other people. And because of that, they never have time to think about the business or grow the business, invest in the business, innovate in the business, hire talent. They're always busy in the I box or the we box every single day. And it creates a hamster wheel, Chad.
Absolutely, it does. I love the old hamster wheel, going back to the old days with our hamster wheel analogy.
So the second reason would be it allows us to get some time back to invest in our business.
Okay.
Get some time back. Here's the third reason that we need talent is because you'll never promote somebody in your world if that promotion is going to create you harm or create you discomfort in the promotion.
Explain that.
Meaning, let's say that I give Bob a promotion. Bob is really freaking good at what he does.
Yes.
And if I promote Bob to this new role, I'm stuck with a massive gap of the fact that nobody else can do what Bob does.
Right.
So in order for Bob to have bigger opportunities, Bob has to find his replacement, and they have to be as good or better than him, or I have to find a replacement for Bob.
Yep.
So the reason that talent is important in the organization is that's how everybody, including the employees, get the opportunity to grow.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Absolutely, it does.
So why is it, do you think, that those three things don't happen all the time, Chad?
Fear,
Yeah. Why else?
time.
Time. It's a big one.
Yeah, those are the first two that come to my mind. And then people think there's going to be a cost to it. So it's probably fear, time, money. If you asked me the three main reasons why these three things don't happen.
Anything you'd add, Bob?
I think there's probably people out there that would like to find talented individuals. They just don't think they know any, or maybe they don't feel like their leadership is developed enough to be able to bring somebody into their world. So maybe, and that probably borders on fear, but it's more like a lack of confidence in your own leadership.
Limitations. And it's interesting because they could find someone that they could lead. Now, that person might only be a B or a C, as Ben was describing earlier. But if they lean into that leading opportunity, they'll end up getting better and better and then being able to replace the C's and the B's with A's.
I think another reason people do it is that they maybe are a control freak. Like they feel like they're not going to be able to find somebody that's going to do it as good as them. I know we've spent a lot of time coaching and training those types in our world who do things at a really, really high level, and they just can't even envision somebody coming in and delivering at that level.
I think all those are true. The number of people that all of us coach and mentor and that we run across or we help in their business, if I had to narrow it down to one thing, is I have this conversation with somebody and says, hey, my biggest issue is I can't find any good talent, and I've been looking for a sales manager or an executive assistant or a sales guy or gal or an accountant or a bookkeeper or a CFO or president or whatever those things might be. And every month and every quarter and every year that I run into those people, it's the same story. They always are looking for that person. And if I could summarize it down to one reasons why they struggle is they don't make finding talent their number one job. They make not having talent their number one problem, but they don't commit enough time on a regular basis fast enough to go find that person. So they spend a year by spending an hour a week trying to find a good person, and they wake up in a year with no good person instead of spending every minute, every hour, every day until you find that person so that you could finally get your time back and move on. And they get stuck in that hamster wheel. So if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about, hey, why is it that I don't have talent? Or you're telling yourself this big self-lie of there's no talent around here, that's a bunch of crap. Your biggest problem is that you don't make finding talent the number one thing on your calendar.
And is it because they have too many other things they think are more important at the moment?
Yeah, probably.
The funny thing is, if you ask most of those people what your biggest problem is, like you just said, they would say their number one problem is they don't have talent, and they just have not decided to prioritize solving that problem.
If it was their number one problem, it should be the number one thing on the calendar.
Right.
Now, we can't shut down our businesses all the time, but I have friends that have businesses and somebody quits, and I say, hey, what are you doing? Well, I got to sit at the desk today, the receptionist desk today, because we don't have a receptionist. What about tomorrow? Well, I'm going to cover it tomorrow, and hopefully we'll find somebody soon. I'm like, no, just put a freaking sticker up there that says not available. Ring a bell, call here, you idiot, and then spend an entire day finding somebody to sit that desk. Don't spend 2 weeks sitting at that desk. Hire somebody. What do you call those?
Temp.
Temp. Yeah. Hire a temp company to come in there and play somebody. Talent is the number one thing that's going to move you from being average and ordinary to being extraordinary. The second thing that I hear people say is I'm not very good at hiring talent. That is another way of saying I haven't had a lot of practice. I don't spend enough time doing it. So if you want to get good at recruiting or hiring or going through the process, you got to spend a lot of time doing it. Now, would you guys say that I spend a lot of time recruiting or a lot of time hiring or a lot of time interviewing?
Half the time I'm looking for you, you're too busy doing that.
Yeah,
That's where you're spending your time.
I would say you're always doing that in some way or another. And I think that'll come out throughout the course of this series, what some of those tactics are. But I would say you're always doing that.
Yeah, picking up a coffee
Whether
on
the
the way
person
into the
you're-
office brought you talent. I mean,
Whether the
we'll
person
share
you're
it.
talking to knows that that's what's happening or not, right? I mean, you're assessing, you're building that relationship. Like I would say you're always on the hunt for talent, and almost every conversation you're in your brain, that is a part of that conversation.
And it's a lesson everybody should probably take from the talent series by the time they're done listening to this, is every conversation you're having, you should be deciding, is that person possible talent? And can I create a seat on the bus for them?
Now or in the future.
Right.
What was the episode that we thought about recording today before we decided to jump right into the talent series?
We had an episode where we were going to talk about the ego.
Yeah, we talked about ego before we started talking today to all of you.
Yep.
And there's a balance in ego of just being an ass or being arrogant and being confident. One of the issues in finding talent is people don't believe that they have enough value to offer other people. So they don't actually ask talented people to work for them, right? Be willing to call somebody smarter, harder working, and more experienced and to get shot down many times, or to nurture that relationship over a long period of time. And that's not about having an ego, but that's about being confident either in yourself, your skills, or in many ways, I'm confident in who we are as a person or a company, that they would be in a better position with us because we care. We'll take care of them. We'll grow together. I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to invest the time for us to get there. So this is the talent series. I want you to think for your homework tonight a few things. I want you to rank the people that are in your world, A, B's, C's, D's, and F's. Number 2, I want you to write down a list of words that you would use to describe talent. What does talent look like to you? Do they have energy? Do they communicate well? Are they knowledgeable? Do they have a low ego? Do they have any sense of drama? Just write down the things that you must have or the things that you're not willing to endure, and get real clear what talent looks like. Here's this little, in my phone, guys, I got this note, like what I want in life, what talent looks like. I have all these things written, and here's why. I want to be able to recognize them if they're sitting in front of me. If you don't make a list of who you need in your world, or what they look like, sound like, feel like, how are you going to recognize them if they're standing in front of you one day? That's your second piece of homework.
Okay.
The third thing is I want you to draw an org chart of what you want your business or your world to look like in a year. If we were to look for 1 year, if you had positions or people you were going to hire, I want you to draw an org chart. It could be you, an assistant, a salesperson, a financial person,
Marketing person, who knows?
whatever you want, right? Draw an org chart and then write the role. And then I want you to write your name in the org chart, because you have an org chart today. You just happen to sit in every one of those circles. Does that make sense?
Ouch, yes.
And over time, you're going to start crossing your name off and writing somebody else's name in there. And then your org chart's going to grow. So make an org chart.
All right.
The last thing,
Ooh, lots of homework from this episode.
I want you to think about how much time you have available on your calendar to solve this problem. How much time do you have available on your calendar to commit to finding talent, finding somebody for your world? If you do those things, you're going to be very well set up for our next episode, where we jump into how do you actually find talent.
I look forward to this one. I've been around long enough to know that you find talent in some interesting places. So we're going to share that as we go through the talent series here on Win, Make, Give. And we hope you've joined us on Facebook, facebook.com/group/Win, Make, Give, for the conversation to continue from there, because maybe you're talent that Bob's looking for right now, and you want to be in the conversation with us. And who do you know that needs to join the talent series? Share this episode and share the series with them so they too can grow their world and maybe grow yours. Until our next episode, as always, do good.